An author who shed light on the lesser-known history of Kampong Gelam has been awarded this year's NUS Singapore History Prize. Hidayah Amin spent 5 years writing the book. It highlights Kampong Gelam as a hub for economic activities back in the day, connecting Singapore to the Malay archipelago and beyond. The book also weaves together accounts of former residents and those of craftsmen and restaurateurs of the time. And through those diverse experiences, the author corrects a popular misconception that the kampong was home only to the Malay aristocracy and community. Well, for more, we're joined by winner of the NUS Singapore History Prize herself, Hidayah Amin. Good evening, Hidayah. Let's start with your connection with Kampong Gelam. What prompted you to write this book?
I was born in Kampong Gelam in Gedong Kuning, which is the yellow mansion. It's situated beside the Malay Heritage Centre. So the building is now, I think it's a restaurant, but it used to be our family's home for since 1912. My great-grandfather was born in Kandahar Street in 1855. So Kampong Gelam is home to 4 generations of our family. So that's my connection to Kampong Gelam.
Oh, it's very much your kampong. How significant is this history then of this district in Singapore's past? And what exactly is the story that you wanted to tell?
So we have heard of Kampong Gelam as a tourist destination. You know, there's all this cafe and very hipster, you know, if you go to Haji Lane. But very few people know the story of Kampong Gelam, like Haji Lane. Why is it called Haji Lane? You know, so I wanted to bring forth all these hidden stories that are not told in tourist brochure. You see, Kampong Gelam is a historic district, yet there wasn't any book written about it. And I felt, you know, I should do justice and write about my childhood neighborhood. And I wanted to tell readers or even tourists, Singaporeans, everybody that the significance of Kampong Gelam in Singapore's history. So it was the pulse of Malay land. It was the intellectual and religious hub of the Malay world. It was the center for printing and publishing in the region. It was the pilgrim hub, and it was also the world's fair. So, so Kampong Gelam is actually very important. It's the pulse, you see. And if I may quote like this sentence that I found in the Straits Times, 23rd June 1896. The article is called Round Kampong Gelam, and it says that everything almost can be found, can be obtained at this veritable World's Fair, from a needle to an anchor. So it's like it's quite cosmopolitan, and it is not just what you see today. So it tells a deeper story and its connection to the region.
That's fascinating. You know, our shared stories are so important to us. Can you briefly tell us some of the interesting ones that you gathered from those people that you spoke to for this project?
Yes, I spoke to a lot of people. You know, I interviewed residents. Of course, you know, besides doing the historical research and visiting the archives and looking at documents. So I think the most important also is to hear the story from the residents, you know, people who have lived there and whose family have you know, build their family in Kampong Gelam. So these are the stories that deserve to be heard, deserve to be told. So I think there's a lot of stories, some short, some long, but all are important to the telling of the Kampong Gelam story. I think one of the quite an interesting story would be, let me just like take a look. It is called, in the book I put it as the cockatoo. So what happened was there was this cockatoo, or in Malay it's called burung kakak tua, and it was stuck in the moon and the crescent so-called icon at the top of the Sultan Mosque. So it was my uncle, because we live very near to the mosque, just like a stone throws away. And he noticed, because this cockatoo had been like had been making a lot of noise, because it was in pain. And so this is what he noticed, and the residents also of Busra Street noticed it, and they called the what do they call? They called the Primary Production Department, or PPD, which is now the AVA, right? The Agri-Food and Veterinary Authority of Singapore. So they call and they say, "Oh, look, there's a cockatoo stuck up in the moon and the crescent. Could you like send some people to retrieve it and get it out, because it's obviously in pain." And so a Malay fireman was actually sent to rescue the bird. And then when he was trying to rescue the bird was in pain and was also afraid. And it kind of like keep biting on the fireman's hand. And so this fireman, with the hands full of blood, actually passed the cockatoo to an English officer from PPD. And then so what happened was, not too long after this incident, the Maria Hertov riots erupted. Yeah, so
Hidayah, I'm going to have to speed you up to the end of this story. It's fascinating, but we are running out of time.
Oh, okay.
Just to wrap it up.
Okay. So it's like an omen. It's like foretelling of the future, because Maria Hertov, the adopted mother, was Malay, right? So the fireman was Malay, and it was given back to her biological mother, who was of European. So the woman who from PPD was European, and of course the hands, the blood signified the riot. And apparently the duration where the bird was stuck in the moon and the crescent was the same duration of the riot. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, fascinating
it's like,
story.
The Sultan Mosque knows this sort of thing.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing it with us and speaking to us this evening as well.
Story in the
I know
book,
there certainly are. We're all going to have to get hold of your book, Hidayah Amin, child of Kampong Gelam and winner of the NUS Singapore History Prize.